So hello everyone, and we just us are together, and I'm Juliette Bryant.
And I'm Jayne Marquis.
And I'm Danielle Brooks. Hello. And we're all sitting around very quietly waiting for Jayne, who is just so lovely and beautiful. But so yes, Jayne, what are we talking about today?
Today we've decided to talk about what is healing, and it's a huge subject, but I think it's very important because there's so many aspects to it, and in truth, no one is really healing. We're just becoming whole, or more of ourselves. And I remember as I wanted to become a naturopathic doctor, I was very interested in energetic work. And I always knew people could heal spontaneously with energy and on their own. But then I also knew that the paradigm we lived in, most people only listened to doctors. So I chose to become a naturopathic doctor at that time. But then I found homeopathy, and as I became a naturopathic doctor, I fell in love with homeopathy because it heals the subconscious and it's energetic. So to me, I completely resonated with that. But yeah, I wanted to throw out just what is healing.
It's quite a big topic, isn't it? I think it's such a great subject to really look into, and I think for me, healing, I think, varies from each of us, and what healing is varies in each moment, because I think healing is bringing the body and the soul and the mind and the emotions into balance, into harmony, into union with everything that is around, with the earth, with life, so that we are vibrating at the right frequency for that moment, and whatever it is that we need to bring in to bring that alignment is what healing is, I feel.
I agree. And it is a huge topic, so thank you, Jayne, because it's like you're just throwing that out for a huge fish. When I think about healing, I actually think about it, like if we look at the word dis-ease, it literally is not to be in ease, to be out of ease. And so coming back into ease, coming back into harmony, as Juliette said, coming back into balance, coming back into connection, not only with ourselves physically, but also understanding that we are greater than this physical body. We have our emotional body, we have our mental body, we have our physical body, we have our etheric body. We're so many. Think of it sort of like a Russian doll, you know, with all of these different layers, and all of them need to work together in order for us to be in harmony. All of them. And then not only that, they have to work together to be in harmony, and we need to be in harmony with the world around us, because all is one and one is all. So healing is a huge topic, because it is, as Jayne said as well, holing. It's coming into that wholeness, coming into that unity, coming back into that state of peace, grace, awareness. And so for me, it's a journey. It's not something where, you know, people, and I'm sure both of you have had people call you up, as I have, saying, you know, how many sessions will it take for me to get back to the way I was before? And I laugh, because I think the way that you were before got you to this place that isn't working. So why do you want to go backwards? You know, you want to go forwards. So healing is a journey. It's a process. It's an unending dance. That's the way I look at it. As you say, moment to moment, but working with it and coming back in and seeing what's working, what isn't working, tweaking it, playing with it, and most of all, enjoying it.
And often it's not because we're broken. It's because we have something to learn from the healing or the discord that's going on within. And I often ask patients if they feel that their illness has a mental emotional component, something on the subconscious that just keeps rising up whenever they get triggered. And the answer 99% of the time is yes. So I'm like, well, let's find out where the trigger is. Let's find out where the unconscious belief is that's causing the discord, that's causing the physical ailment, and just go there. And I just treat like with homeopathy, and it dissolves. And then they become whole again. But maybe another layer comes up in the future because, like you say, we're a work in progress and we're always learning, right, Danielle? So it's, yeah.
I think
I
that's
like what you're saying. Yeah. Sorry, go ahead, Juliette.
No, I was going to say I really like that. I think it really resonates that, you know, things that are coming up, things that are going on with this aren't necessarily bad things, but they're there to be cleared. You know, it can be an experience that we don't even realize is stored inside us, because it's like with water, you know, Dr. Emoto's work with water, the hidden messages in water. You know, if we drink a cup of water and we have thoughts that are negative, that are hateful, that water is being stored in our body on a cellular level, those emotions. And so sometimes we don't even realize that. So these emotions then come up from our cells, from deep within us, and we don't even know when that's from. And it could be literally as simple as having a bad day and being stressed and eating something or drinking something, and that being stored and held. And obviously, if we have more trauma and more negative times through our lives, that does imprint upon our body. And it's better that it comes up to be cleared, so that we can move through, so we can be lighter, so we can vibrate at that higher frequency, you know, so our soul can really accomplish what it's here to do.
Absolutely. I think I'd like to talk about attitude towards healing for a moment, because both of you are touching on something that I'm so excited about, which is the idea of not judging the state that you're in, and not looking at, say, for example, disease or an illness as something that is negative. I think that that's one of the biggest problems that we have, is that we look at it as a negative, whereas it's an opportunity. And if you see it as an opportunity, as Jayne was saying, it's an opportunity to grow, it's an opportunity to come into balance, it's an opportunity to release, it's an opportunity to harmonize, because you might be picking up some toxins from your environment, you might be picking them up from your emotions, but you also might be picking them up transgenealogically. You know, as souls, as these beautiful beings that we are, we come into this world wanting love, giving love, being an expression of love. And if you've ever wondered if we are really truly perfect, I think we are. Look at a baby, the perfection of a baby. And as a young child, you're immediately brought into this dynamic which has toxins, which has trauma, which is carrying negative beliefs and perspectives. And we're raised with this idea of, you know, good girls do this, good boys do that. And we start to carry within us trauma. We start to carry within us also the traumas that our parents have carried transgenealogically, or the limitations or the blocks. And all of these things are hereditary, and we do it because we love. And we want to carry pain for those that we love. It's what we do as children. So quite often healing, we have to look at so many different infinite particles of what it is. And there's a lot that comes into balancing, which is the letting go of the pain, the letting go of the fear. And all disease really is ways to show us how to love ourselves and how to love in a very high vibration, you know?
Yeah, it's because pain and fear aren't real. Like they're a subconscious program. They don't really exist. They're not really part of who we are, but they trigger us into negative beliefs and ways of thinking. You know, even if we consciously try to overcome them, they still stay there like a river in a subconscious belief. But they don't really exist. They're so easy to pluck out and remove. I had a patient yesterday. She was really young. She was 5 years old, and her mom was with her, and I find that I always take the mom's case at the same time as the child's case, because I find, like you were saying, Danielle, that as children we're mirroring what our parents are going through, and we carry that energy. So often a child needs the remedy of the parent in healing. And it can be even deeper than that, like you said too. It can be from a generation back. So all of this needs to be taken into consideration.
It's funny that you said that about the generations, because a lot of people I see, the gut, you know, we transplant the gut of our parents, the gut of their parents, and you know, the gut, the bacteria, you know, the thing that makes up a lot of our physical being, this bacteria that's in our system, actually is not just from us, it's from our environment, it's from our parents. And that, I think, is fascinating, you know, because on a level of healing, we've got all these creatures inside us living, and they're actually not, they're not ours, they're from our parents. And so when we look at those lines and that go back, and people say, oh well, I've always had this problem, my mother always had it, and my grandmother always had it, and it just runs in the family. And you think, well, why does it run in the family? Where does it start? So I think it's always a really interesting thing to look at, the history. And it's funny that you said that about the remedies, because both my children have the same constitutional homeopathic remedy as I have, which I think is interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so interesting. And I find too that the energetic pattern allows for the disease. So if it's a manifestation of dysbiosis or parasites, there's often a thought form that goes behind that, allowing for that to happen.
The parasite thing as well, quite often I see that if there are parasites in the body, there are parasites in the energetic field as well.
Mm-hmm.
You know, those two are very closely matched. So you know, whatever is, this is just the last imprint, isn't it? The thing
Yes.
is moved through our fields, and that's what we've got to look at. This is the final thing. It's you know, it's everything going, come on, look, we're trying to reach you, but you're not listening. So we've got to show it.
It's so very true. By the time that you've manifested something in the physical body, it's already been in your other energetic bodies for a very long time. And just speaking to the idea of parasites and transgenealogical toxicity, when a baby is born, through the umbilical cord, there are already over, well, I think it's something like 250 different toxins that a baby has received from its mother in utero, before it's even born. And then when you look at what that mother was eating or what that grandmother was eating, it's passed down. And then you also have a direct correlation between mothers that are on antidepressants and children and with autism and ADD. So there's a lot of factors to look at. But I want us to go a little higher for a second. I'm going to talk about the spiritual aspect, because why is it that we could maybe, you know, you'll have two people in the same environment that will respond or develop differently. You know, sometimes we have a disease which will directly affect one person but not another person. And so there's also the aspect of the soul to look at, you know. And for myself, certainly, in one of the ways that I look at this on a soul level is, what is the opportunity? What is there here for me, if it was me, to learn? What is there that this is showing me? What is it that I need to work on and clear? What is it that I need to harmonize? Because how I live and how, I mean, you can have people that have incredible health and they will fall into a state of dis-ease that makes no sense, but it might be on a soul level. There might be something there on that level, or it also might be something that's a trauma that they've been carrying from another aspect of themselves, a parallel aspect, or alternately transgenealogical. You know, an example would be someone who at 42 develops lung cancer, has never smoked, lost their mother at 42 years old, lost their father to lung cancer. I've had clients like this, and what, you know, and also lungs are where we store grief. And so there's so many different beautiful moving components, and it is really always about treating the cause, not the symptom. And that can take time. That's a journey. That's a process. That's the healing.
And I think it's the desire to want to do it, isn't it? Because so many times also when someone has something physically going on, they identify with it and it becomes part of them, and then the letting go of that becomes a really hard thing because they have become that illness. It has taken on an identity within their being, and I've seen people, they don't want to let go because they don't know who they will be without it.
It's like a negative positive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think
yeah, this is brilliant because I have so many people say, if I bring my daughter, can you help her? And I'm like, not until your daughter wants to come to see me. Like, you have to choose to move through it before you can. And then everything is revealed. When you choose to, I find, like when I take a case, I see it holistically. So I see the past, I see the physical symptoms and how they're manifesting, and then I go into the subconscious and see what belief systems are manifesting that. And then we just find something on earth that heals the whole person, which is incredible. But there has to be the desire to move through it first.
Yeah, willingness, right, Jayne? It starts with willingness to give up and give over to something outside of yourself.
And also I think the belief that you can. I think that's a really big part of it, because so often people think, well, how am I ever, it all seems too big and too daunting, how am I going to overcome it? But if you have that knowledge, that belief, you don't know how you're going to do it, but you know that you will move through this and you will come out the other side. And I think that positive attitude, that you know, that vision, that goal allows things to unfold as they should. Not saying that you know the answers and that it will work out this way, but that you will move through this in a positive way. You will find a solution through. Who knows what that solution is, but at least it gives you that goal to move and to trust that the universe will show you the path that you need to take.
And that's why there are some amazing options out there. So for people that are really seeking, because let's face it, when we're in pain or when we're having a hard time, it's very hard to have that kind of clarity. But that's what practitioners of all different aspects of health, I mean, amongst us, there's nutrition, there's homeopathy, there's faith healing, there's naturopathy. There are so many different ways to receive help. So I think it's also important to realize that there are people out here in this world that are ready to hold space with you, that are ready to support you, ready to empower you. And I think it's really important to choose with your heart. Choose someone that is going to speak with you in that way, that is really helping you to step into your responsibility, your power. They'll be there to support you. They're there to facilitate. But no one heals anyone else. The best healers are those that are able to help you understand that everything comes from the inside out, and they're there to guide, support, celebrate, share.
Yeah, in a good, when I'm taking a case, I only mirror back the words that someone has said to me and help them go in the place so that I can find a remedy. But I say very, very little. And yesterday too, the mother was kind of sad. She said, "How could I be responsible for my child's disease?" Which was only a rash. It wasn't that serious. But I just said to her, you're a mirror to me. I'm a mirror to you. Your child is a mirror. Like we're just mirrors to each other, and ways of discovering what's going on inside. So it's a brilliant point, Danielle.
And also, children are in their parents' energetic field, right? And they're so sensitive. I'm always amazed when people go, "Wow, they really do pick up everything." It's like, oh, they pick up everything energetically first and foremost. You can't hide, you can't hide your inherent energy. So when your energetic state is not in balance, it's evident, and it's evident consciously and unconsciously around you. And let's be really honest, our world is not in balance. You know, we're inundated. We're inundated with toxins. We're inundated with pollutants. We're inundated with pesticides. We're inundated with fear, all kinds of negativity. So this process of healing that we're talking about is essential, because all of this accumulates, all of it develops, and then one day your body says, enough, I want your attention, as you were saying, Juliette. You know, it starts going, hello, blinkers are on, you know, I need help.
And for me, I think one of the best ways to start a healing journey is to just be outside with nature. You know, when we can connect with nature, with the earth, it's all around us. Whether it's in a park, whether it's in a forest, whether it's by water, you know, there are spaces everywhere we can all access. And I think whether it's just standing outside on a piece of grass in front of your house, whatever it is, just that connection to earth can really begin, I think, the healing journey. For me anyway, when I'm feeling out of balance, if I go and sit down on some earth and just go, it starts to really allow things to sink and to settle and to recalibrate.
Yeah, often when I tell people about earthing, I get a reaction like, how can that help? Like, you know, we've been kind of programmed there to walk away from Mother Earth and look too much at technology, and we've lost the connection to something that's very healing. But recently they've started to scientifically show what goes on when you lay on the earth. So there's that aspect to it, let alone the energetic connection you're getting to Mother Earth, which is so powerful. And I totally agree, Juliette. If I am stressed in any way, 10 minutes on the earth, and then I can see the next steps, I'm much more grounded, I'm much more balanced, and I've also healed great pain just by laying on the earth.
And I think it's important yeah. And I think it's important that people realize that there are simple things. You know, it doesn't have to be complicated. It doesn't have to be expensive. It doesn't have to be filled with like different crystals and different things. I mean, crystals are great and they come from the earth, but it can be very straightforward, because I think that can disempower people sometimes when it comes to healing. It's like, well, where do I start? What do I do? Who do I go to? You know, I don't have enough money. You know, all these things can come in to act as barriers, because we don't necessarily want to. You know, it's scary, isn't it, stepping into change, into the unknown?
Oh, yeah.
But we can start with that one simple step, which, as Jayne then said, can move us to the next step. You know, and that's all it is. It's one step in front of another. And we don't need to know what 10 steps down the road is going to be. We just have to take that first step.
And think of it as a positive as opposed to a negative. You know, oh, I have to quit smoking, or oh, I have to give this up, or I have to stop doing this, or whatever it is. Don't think of it like that. I know that what helps me is to just think of ways that I can nourish myself, how I can do something that's positive for myself. So one of my favorite things is I have a smoothie in the morning, and everything goes in that smoothie. I mean, it's amazing what goes in that smoothie. I put all kinds of all the things that I know that are really, really good for me. And it's become sort of a way for me to honor my temple. And, you know, I start my day this way, and this is when I know that everything that is goodness is going in my body. I feel good about myself when I do something good for myself. It's not this idea of, oh, I have to remove or I have to take something out of my life. It's more leaning in to something that's really positive, leaning in to something that makes me feel good. And the more I do that, actually the less I'm going to want to do the other things that are not so very healthy. The desire diminishes. So don't even worry about that. That's my thinking. It's more, what can you invite in? And just baby steps, like you were saying, baby steps. Just start by doing little things that you know will make you feel better. If it means getting an exercise routine going, changing your supplements, or your, you know, having a smoothie in the morning, earthing, meditating, breathing, just consciously stopping and going,
Yeah.
Yeah.
And sometimes I have people come in that are, very sick, or something simple like, I just want to lose weight. Can you help me lose weight? And I always say, let's get to the underlying reason why you're not totally loving yourself. Because if you do, then you'll feed yourself the right things. You'll have that smoothie instead of a bag of chips. Like, you'll just do things that are more nurturing naturally. Because there's that subconscious somewhere. There's this subconscious belief that I don't love myself enough. You just have to pluck that out.
Maybe
And
get
then
a dog too.
Yeah, true.
So
The
Jayne,
exercise, right?
Jayne, what would your final tip be? Mine is to connect with the earth. Danielle's is to nourish yourself. What would your final kind of message be for today?
I think just to be open, like Danielle says, to the many, many aspects of healing that there are, and to know that it doesn't have to lie within allopathic medicine and drugs. There's so many ways of healing, and to trust your own inner intuition as to where that should be.
Amazing. Thanks for joining us all for our little chat. It's been lovely seeing and connecting with you lovely people. And we will see you again soon.
Bye.
Bye.